Hello! In this video, I'm going to finish setting up my weekly layouts for January and bring you 3 different ideas using watercolors and incorporating a sticker sheet that I collaborated on with Milky&Co Studios. This is the Snowy Dreams sticker sheet, and if you want to check it out, then the link will be in the description down below. You can also get 15% off your purchase with my code Rebecca15. I'm really excited about this collab because I had the wonderful opportunity to work with Hannah, one of the owners of the stationery shop. Milky&Co Studios is a small business that is co-owned by Hannah and her sister Esther. I met with Hannah once to do some brainstorming for the type of sticker sheet I imagined, and she had said that it was really cool to be able to run the shop with her sister because even though they are very different from each other, they found similarities in doodling stickers. Their parents also invested in them by getting them a Cricut to make their sticker sheets. I think it's really cool that she studied business in school and that she was able to see how marketing and logistics work in the real world through her shop. When I met with Hannah, I had a couple of ideas of what I wanted to do as a theme for January, but after discussing with her, I decided to do a theme based on the song Crystal Snow by BTS. I told her that I wanted to incorporate snowflakes and the colors of the Face Yourself album. I initially thought that she would come up with a sticker sheet of just unique snowflakes and crystals, but Hannah went above and beyond and also took the idea from the silhouette on the album art to come up with some beautiful silhouette stickers. I pretty much drew out my weekly layouts using the same order by starting with the markers and then filling up the empty space with watercolor. I first started by writing out the title of the month and then drew the boxes for each of the days. Again, for the boxes of the days, I drew the snow crystals I used in the beginning of the month setup. I started out with a diamond in the darker shade, then I went around with an inner diamond and drew a design in the center. Most of the time it was just a circle, a teardrop shape, or a triangle. Then I just filled the diamond with a lighter shade of a similar color. I decided to outline my boxes for each day because I like the structure and organization of it. After that, I just wrote the days of the week. You could honestly stop and use the spread as is to keep it very minimal, but I decided to add watercolor to bring these spreads to life and make them a little more unique with the colors of blue, purple, and pink. For this first weekly spread, I decided to use washi tape to section off where I wanted to paint because I wanted to get a nice clean line. I just brought the paint upwards towards the top of the journal. I had to be a little more careful, especially in the center, to check for the watercolor dripping through, which it did a little. In general, I tried to work pretty quickly with the watercolor though, and to speed up the drying process, I just dried the page a bit using a hairdryer. I always find it so satisfying to pull the tape off a painting after it's dry and revealing that clean line. The next thing that I'm doing is going through the Snowy Dreams sticker sheet by Milky&Co Studios and choosing some of the snowflakes and crystals. I love the combination of the light and dark shades of blue. I also decided to add some of the snow crystal stickers. I wanted to fill this space a little bit more, so I added more snowflakes and sparkles and dots with white pen. I went back in with a black fine liner to add some more sparkles and little circles. On the next weekly spread, I imagined having the watercolor go across the middle of the page. I started with writing January across the center. One thing I like about the Sakura Pigma microns is their archival ink, which means that when I watercolor over the fine liner, it won't bleed. I definitely suggest using microns with watercolor. Then I wanted to section off the areas for my days. I made these sections more square than the last spread, but I put them around the corners so that I could still see most of the watercolor in the big empty space. I had drawn an outline of where I wanted the watercolor to go, but I actually ended up making the edges very soft by bringing the paint up using a circular motion with a brush. I also found that when I started watercoloring, it was best to start from the center of the section that I wanted to paint and then work outwards. I made sure to avoid painting inside the boxes. Then I definitely forgot to erase the pencil line before placing the stickers down, but I did my best to erase the lines after. I decided to use one of the silhouette drawings because I absolutely loved how they turned out. I definitely think that this one might have been my favorite one though. Also, I didn't intend it this way, but kind of like the title of the sticker sheet, Snowy Dreams, it sort of looks like the silhouette is dreaming up a scene of these snowflakes and crystals, so I really like it. I finished the spread with doodling the snowflakes and sparkles in the white pen and black fine liner. On this last weekly spread, I kept it pretty similar to the first spread with the long vertical boxes. I usually like drawing out my spreads first in pencil to have an idea of how it'll look after I'm done, and I tend to make a lot of mistakes, so drawing the spreads out first definitely helps to minimize the possibility. If you remember to, try to erase your spreads after you use the fine liners and markers, as it makes it a little more difficult to erase after you watercolor. I had actually intended on incorporating the sticker sheet throughout the entire month of January, but unfortunately the postal service was experiencing a ton of delays with the holiday season. I was incredibly grateful that Hannah was so flexible with this collab, especially because my team at my full-time job is getting pretty slammed with work right now. We originally intended to line up the release of my video with the sticker drop, but I'm happy that I finally get to announce it on my channel. If I get the opportunity to in the future, I'd definitely love to work with Milky&Co studios again. I really love small businesses, and I'm hoping to find more opportunities to support them in the future by shopping small more often. For this final weekly spread, I decided to only paint the corners of the pages. When decorating, I may have gone a little crazy with the stickers, but I wanted to use all of them because they were so pretty. I know you can get these stickers with a white background, but I opted for the clear background to be able to see the watercolors underneath the stickers. I can't decide which weekly layout is my favorite, so let me know in the comments which of the 3 spreads was your favorite. This is my first collab, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. They recently updated their shop with some new releases as well, so I hope you will go and check out their shop in the link down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!